Chainlink Thursday price update, August 14th. We're going to start off on the short time frame, then we'll zoom out to the daily and the weekly. We'll take a look at the drop, what's happening with Bitcoin, specifically what that means for Chainlink, important levels to be watching for today and going into the weekly close. If you liked the video, give us a thumbs up. If you want more help navigating this cycle, looking at help exiting, saving more of your money, consider subscribing through Patreon. Get access to our private Telegram alerts group, where we do daily updates. You get access to private requests, whatever you want. Let's get going. Chainlink on the 4 hour. We've had a little bit of a drop. Bitcoin had a little bit of a drop, had a little hiccup. After briefly seeing all-time highs yesterday out of Bitcoin, we're seeing a whipsaw out of there. Let's just pivot over there real quick and just take a look at what the hell's going on with Bitcoin. If we look at like the daily, you can see we've had it's called a whipsaw, right? You fake out to the downside, you move back up, you fake out to the upside. We're back to right where we were, right? This is typical volatility when you're near all-time highs. So it's just playing the mind games, getting all the weak hands out before revealing the bigger move likely just ahead. So altcoins are going to take a back seat, likely be a little bit more red when Bitcoin is, but guess what? Chainlink's holding its own. Bitcoin's down 4%, Chainlink's only down 5%. That's pretty good. So Chainlink's got the strength right now. We need Bitcoin dominance to chill, right? That's the next thing we need to continue dropping. We need to see Bitcoin dominance drop, which it looks like it's going to. If we want a pure alt season, right, we need dominance lower. We need to see others dominance. We need to see that around 9% altcoin dominance. It's another thing we track. But for Chainlink specifically, let's start off on the 4 hour, right? That's where we started. We ideally want to close above our 21. You can see that's where we held last time. We got a nice big move up. We've seen a wick all the way down to these lows. So as long as we keep these lows intact, we're still okay, right? Let's probably put a zone on that from that low opener. So as long as we're remaining above, really $20, as we zoom out, you'll see the $20 is a little bit more significant. This is big, kind of the worst case, what we'd want to see over the next few days going into the weekly close for 4 hour closing prices. Ideally, to keep our bullish momentum, yes, we want to hold the 21. If you go back and look at last time, right, we started to close, under the 21 EMA, the yellow line, right? That's when you can get it lets the wind out of your sails, right? You're losing a lot of momentum. So I don't necessarily think we'll see a bigger drop, although we could, but more or less we're going to see more consolidation is the likelihood if we start to close multiple candles under that 4 hour, the 4 hour 21 EMA, that yellow line right there. So that's what you need to be watching for the rest of today before we make our Friday Chainlink update tomorrow. That's what you need to be focusing on. On the daily chart, everything still looks picture perfect, really, right? Nice big move up. 58% in 11 days, right? We're allowed to take a little bit of a breather. We're still up 40% even with the low wick. So we're above all moving averages. We're putting in higher highs, right? Everything's good here. After bouncing off the 200 EMA down here, the lower Bollinger Band, nice big move. And if we see this lower part of this zone on the higher time frames is around $20. This is our previous range high. So we need to flip that to range lows at worst case. And also, what do we see there is the 21 EMA. So we're still A-okay as long as we're not closing under here. Anything can happen. It's all just noise. I wouldn't put too much into it. And also, let's just look at maybe why we're hesitating right here. Well, if you take your rough Fibonacci here, well, look at our 1618 extensions, right around $24. Where do we hold the line? Coincidence around $24. Okay, no big deal. Consolidate if we must. Who cares? The end goal is the next target is above this zone. It's $30, right? That's we're looking at nothing but cycle highs. So we're on our way. We're making higher highs, higher lows. Everything else is just noise. Don't get faked out or freaked out here. This is not the time to be doing that. What else? Well, we talked about yesterday about our golden cross. Well, typically with golden crosses, you could see some extra volatility or usually a drop not long after. So if we look at the last time we had a golden cross, what do? Well, we went up significantly, and then we had a kind of a move back down within a week, right? That looks kind of like what's happening now, right? Back here, a move up, and look, let's just zoom in here and see what happened last time. We have a pretty explosive move after the golden cross, right? And then we got a lot of extra volatility to the EMA 8 and back tested the 21 EMA, where it continued to hold until it didn't, right? And when you break the 21 EMA, the yellow line, that's usually what it just pokes holes in your sail and you just can't catch the wind anymore. It's just the momentum killer when you do that on any chart. So looking at current, right? We could go up more. We could consolidate here and it would be typical. As long as we're not closing under here, we've got to assume higher, right? That's how it goes. So golden cross, big move up, a little bit extra volatility. We continued up higher in the not so distant future, right? Could take several more days, but whenever you see a golden cross, specifically on a daily, like you're likely going to see some volatility in the not so distant future. But more or less, right, that's what you want to see. And that's, by definition, is you're just crossing your 50-day simple moving average over the 200-day simple moving average, if you didn't know that. That's what a golden cross is. And the death cross is just the opposite, right? It's when the 50 crosses under the 200. All right, so that's kind of streamline effect of the daily chart. We're still bullish, right? We're up over 50% in less than 2 weeks. What's not to like? Right, a little bit of volatility. We're just taking a breath after our big move. All right, so let's go out to the weekly. What do we want to look at going into the weekly close? Well, we can get more into this tomorrow. We'll look at the weekly and monthly tomorrow more in depth, because we'll have the weekly close just a little bit closer. But looking at this zone, just FYI, going back to really the first month of 2024, right? January, February 2024 to now. That's been 80 weeks since right here. 80 weeks. How many candles have closed in this box? It's only been 14. I've done it for you. 14 candles that we've closed inside this box out of 80. And before that, right, we were bear market and abysmal. Well, we've just done another one last week, and we're looking at our second one again. This is pretty rare air for Chainlink. So I don't know how you'd be bearish here, right? Dominance was much lower here. I saw some comments on the videos, like with Chainlink was $30 back when ETH was, less, and now ETH is more. Well, it's not alt season. It's not even alt month or week like it was back here. Bitcoin dominance was much lower here and much lower here. We need Bitcoin dominance to chill out, go down to mid-50s, I think, at least. We need to see others' dominance, right? This is what you want to be looking at, others' dominance. We need that to get back to around 9% to really kick it off. And the fact that Chainlink is even in this zone before an alt season, before we really get to kick things off, is beyond exciting. We still have the chance of hitting that $100 psychological level for Chainlink, but we need a pure alt season. We need Bitcoin dominance to chill. We need it to go to mid-50s, low 50s. We need others' dominance to go to 9-10% at least. If we can get all that, we have a better than not chance of ripping a powerful move out of Chainlink that we have not seen this cycle. Everything is set up for it. Look at the weekly chart. All moving averages sorted out, least to great. 200 on the bottom after putting in macro lows, right back here last summer. Here's another low, another low. You can argue that's a double bottom, which confirmed right here, right? Double bottoms don't confirm here. It confirms after you break the previous high, which we did right there. Confirm a double bottom, and all of a sudden we're bullish. Well, wonder if we could have seen that coming. Back tested the 21 EMA. Have we talked about that in this video at all? Yeah, we're doing great. We're doing exactly what we need to do. Everything's still right on course. Ignore the speed bumps, ignore the noise, focus on the end goal, and that's obviously we're getting new highs this cycle. We're gonna breach this momentarily, whether or not it takes a couple more weeks. Very confident that we'll see this taken out sooner than later, and can't wait to make that video when we see new cycle highs. Hopefully we can make that within the next couple of weeks. If not, we still have plenty of time left. I think we'll still last into Q4, if not longer. I'm in the mindset of Bitcoin around 150K before I think the cycle's relatively over. I don't think we're over yet. And if I'm erring on the side of caution, I think the top will still be late 2025. Love to be wrong on that, and we spill into 2026, and that would just help altcoins even that much more. So we talk about all that and stuff and more in our Telegram group on a daily basis. We look at Bitcoin dominance. We look at Bitcoin. We look at altcoins. We look at Tether dominance. We look at altcoin dominance. We look at all these altcoins, and we have these kind of sorted, right? See all these little colored flags, right? I sort all my altcoins based on how strong the charts are. So if you're wondering that, right, red is obviously bad, right? Well, we want Tether dominance bad, right? That's sidelined stablecoins. That's up a little bit today, right? When that goes up, crypto prices are down. So we track that very closely. But I would suggest joining that if you're ever lost or you're wondering what the hell's happening on a day-to-day, right? We focus on it day-to-day. We know the clear path. We know the warning signs, high and low. Check it out. All right, I'll see you on the next one. Let's do quote and car of the day. If you like that, stick around. Happiness is a direction, not a place, right? It's never a destination. If you're waiting on something else to make you happier, whether it's a house, a car, more money, spouse, temporary, right? Your happiness is a journey, not a destination. Yep. All right, car of the day. Speaking of destination, I'll take this destination. How about a Aston Martin Vantage in blue? We're keeping blue for the week. Chainlink blue for the week. We got another blue one. This is one of my top favorite cars under like 200K. I think it's the best deal, the best bang for your buck in supercars. Look at it. We're going to start looking at like, if you ever go on Car Gurus, you can look at any car and they're actually give you prices and everything. So maybe we'll do this because we get more pictures this way. We can see actually what used cars are going for, supercars. And I like this so much. I actually have this one right there in yellow. See right there. The Aston Martin Vantage. This is actually the convertible edition. Let me remove my picture and we can check this out a little bit more. Really just great looking for the money, especially. Geez, just over 100K, you can get something like this. And this is one of my favorite rear ends on any supercar for any amount of money. I love the taillights and the back end and the exhaust. I mean, it's just really well designed, I think. The front, not so much, but I mean, the rear, the wheels, I really love it. Look at those brakes. Thick. Pretty good spec here. We could put Chainlink on this hood too. Maybe just wrap the whole damn car in a Chainlink vinyl wrap. Yeah. All right. I like the grill, but the headlights are a little basic. Don't you agree? Wish they would make the headlights a little bit more aggressive like they did the rear. I love the great touches. Like the blue stitching, the contrast, you can get the matching stitching. Looks really great. A lot of little subtle things in here. Looks real good. All right. We can wrap it up there. Chainlink blue cars. We'll do another one tomorrow. We'll probably go a little bit higher in tomorrow. Maybe we'll look for a Bugatti or kind of Lambo. Alrighty, I'll see you on the next one.